I thought I married an Italian. Turns out, Eastern European. We went from eating pizza and Italian sausage to Polish sausage and pierogies.
I thought I married an Italian.
Found out that I was only 16% Italian.
He was 34% Eastern European.
Anybody else remember that Ancestry.com commercial? I don't get why they put that example in the commercial. I mean, it would be more shocking if you went from thinking you were Italian to East Asian rather than East European. Like, same continent, both white. You know, I want to find out that all along I'm a quarter Chinese. Did you get a DNA kit for Christmas? That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. And because of that cringy Ancestry.com commercial, I went for 23andMe. I didn't get my kit this Christmas. I bought mine myself back in 2016, and the price for Ancestry Plus Health on 23andMe was about $200. They've got promotions all the time. They had a bunch before Christmas, but the rate here in Canada right now is $250 for the Health Plus Ancestry, and the other option is $130, and that gets you like traits and ancestry. I've got a sign up promotion link in the description. If you're interested in buying it, please use the link and I'll get a little gift card for Amazon. So thanks in advance. Before we look at my results, look at my face. Where do you think I could be from? Take a guess, leave your guess in the comments, and take a look at this. What country do people have dark roots and bleached tips? This is pretty interesting. Since I gave my DNA back in 2016, my results have changed 3 times to what we have now. Before, I had a little bit of Mongolian, it was like less than 1%, and then that went away, and all of a sudden I had a little bit of Middle Eastern / North African, and now that's changed again. What do you think I am? I've only ever been mistaken for something other than what I am one time. A French teacher assumed that I was Mexican. So when you log in to your dashboard, it gives you some quick links and some articles. They gotta keep pushing stuff out to keep people interested. This is kind of a service that you buy, you check out one time, and then you don't log in again for another few years. What you do for both the Ancestry.com and 23andMe is they'll send you this cardboard kit with a tube, and you have to fill the tube up with spit, and there's a certain line. It's a lot of spit. So make sure you're hydrated beforehand. On the dashboard, let's go into Ancestry. I hope you put your guess in. The composition, I am whiter than white bread. 55% British and Irish, 23% Eastern European, and 14% French and German, and the rest is just kind of like a generic European. Let's look. It gives you a map, and also if you click into each region or country that you're from, it's going to give you a better guess at what part of that country you're from. So if you look at British and Irish, it says Greater London, Manchester, Lancashire. I'm not going to keep trying to pronounce all these UK place names because I'm going to say them wrong. French and German, it shows Bavaria. For Eastern European, Poland. I'll tell you that before I got the results of this, I had assumed the exact same things. Knowing my family composition, I have a very typically Scottish last name, so I knew for sure part of my family was from the UK. My great-grandmother on one side of my family, she has a Polish last name, and she was like one of 7 children born in the US, but the rest of her siblings were all born in Poland. So I was pretty sure that a big chunk of my family came from Poland. She lived to be 101, by the way. I was really hoping for something a little bit more spicy, something a little bit more exotic. One of my parents was adopted, so we don't know the biological family members on that side of the family, so it was a mystery to me. Turns out they were probably British given the results here. I was hoping like I was a little bit Native American or something, or a little bit African, I don't know, but nothing, just white. I hope your results are a little bit more exciting than mine. The only thing that I didn't really expect was 0.5% Jewish. So if you scroll down, they show this Ancestry Timeline, which I think is pretty neat. They don't tell you about this in the commercials really, but it'll show you how many generations ago was your most recent ancestor from each population. So British and Irish looks like the most recent from 1900 to 1960, makes sense. Eastern European, my great-grandmother was born in 1907, so that fits in that category, 1870 to 1930. French and German is also there. Going way back, it shows Ashkenazi Jewish. That's the ancestry part. I'm a little disappointed. It's kind of, I didn't really need to pay $200 to find that out, but now I know for sure. Who is the ideal customer? Who are these DNA kits for? Well, I gave you my example that I have a parent that was adopted, so we don't really know any information about that side of the family tree. And part of that is the reason why I got the Ancestry Plus Health, and I'll show you the health reports in just a minute, but I wanted to kind of be prepared if there was anything that I was predisposed to. I wanted to know ahead of time, and maybe I could make some lifestyle changes to try and avoid getting whatever condition they say I'm predisposed to. Luckily, I'm pretty healthy according to those reports, and we'll see in just a minute. For other people, you might be getting this because you're interested in building out your family tree. You don't know exactly when somebody was born, when they came over to America from a different country. You want to figure that all out, and you're into genealogy. This can help, but the thing is, Ancestry.com and 23andMe.com don't communicate with each other. They're competing services. So you better hope that your relatives bought the same one that you did. Otherwise, you're gonna have to buy both, and that kind of sucks. It's pretty pricey. I don't want to spend $500 just to get, connections with people. Anyways, I found on mine, I have a couple first and second cousins. Everybody else is more distant relative. The first and second cousins, they must be on the adopted family side because I don't recognize their last names or their faces. We sent a couple messages back and forth, but it never really became anything. And you know what? I'm not too interested in that anyways. It's a fun way to spend your money, but I wouldn't recommend it for your whole family. They really try to push that on the website, like buy it for your parents, buy it for other family members. Well, if I did it, I'm gonna let my brothers look at the information. I gave them the login information because their DNA is probably very similar to mine. I don't think that they're gonna discover that they are Chinese or something and I'm not. So let's look at the All Health and Traits report. First, we're looking at the health predisposition. This is the stuff that you would be worried about, something that they can tell you just by looking at your DNA. I have two things that showed up on mine. One was hereditary hemochromatosis. Variant detected, not likely at an increased risk. I'm not really sure what that's about. Something about iron deficiency or having too much iron. Haven't had any problems yet. Not too worried about that. Late onset Alzheimer's disease. That is not a scary thing to me because it says only slightly increased risk and late onset Alzheimer's when you're old. I'd be more scared if it was like an early onset. If you saw that movie Still Alice with Julianne Moore, she got it when she was like 40. I'm not worried about that happening. All these other things, age-related macular degeneration, I think that's with your eyes. Variants not detected for any of these. Celiac disease, that's one that might be interesting. Some people think that they are allergic to gluten, so that can confirm it for you, I guess. Maybe you should go to the doctor and get a real test though. There's a bunch of other things here too, sickle cell anemia, but I wouldn't get all nervous and go to the doctor and be like, this is what the DNA thing said for me. They're just gonna tell you that you shouldn't be worrying about it, and if it happens, it happens and we'll deal with it then. They might do a test for you, but it's really kind of like a hypochondriac thing to do. So these are the things I was talking about, the traits. Are you likely to flush, get red in the face when you drink? Caffeine consumption, I'm likely to consume less, although I got a gingerbread latte right here. Less likely to be a deep sleeper, predisposed to way above average. No thanks. Lactose intolerance, this one's wrong. It says likely tolerant, but I do not tolerate any lactose. Here are some traits. Ability to match musical pitch. Less likely to be able to match musical pitch. Well, I was in band for 4 years in high school and jazz band. So I think I'm pretty good with music. Anyway, this one's kind of cool. It says eye color, likely blue or green eyes. I got blue eyes and I do, so that one's correct. Bald spot, likely no bald spot. Somewhere else on this thing, it showed me that, oh, there it is, early hair loss, likely no hair loss. But that's only until 40, then it says it might happen. And it explains like the science behind it. Privacy is a big concern for a lot of people. You think, I'm gonna share my DNA with this private company, they're gonna have it, they're gonna do something evil with it. If you saw in the news, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, they captured this gangster because one of his relatives used a home DNA kit because the police found some DNA from a crime scene with somebody who had created an account on one of these websites. It wasn't an exact match, but it was pretty damn close. So they went and spoke to that person and she connected them to her relative who turned out to be the criminal, and they arrested him, and the DNA helped, the police do good in that situation. Here's the thing. If you are worried about privacy, it's too late. Everybody in the United States and Canada now, their DNA is out there because enough of us in the population have given our DNA that there's nobody that's far enough away related to you that they can't trace their way, if they wanted to, like the police or the FBI, back to the person who actually committed the crime and then get an exact DNA sample. So you shouldn't be worried unless you're planning on committing some heinous crimes or being involved in some shady stuff. Otherwise, no one's gonna be looking for your DNA. There's enough people out there. We're not gonna try to clone you. And you shouldn't think that you're that special that somebody wants another one of you. All right? I don't even think people want another one of me. Overall, my satisfaction with this 23andMe service is a 6 out of 10. I'm disappointed that my DNA is not more interesting, and yes, I'm gonna hold a grudge about that with the company, even though they're not responsible for my own DNA. I just think it's really pricey for what it is, something that you only check once or twice and then you forget about and don't check again ever. Making this video though made me check it again, so thanks a lot, friends. Unfortunately, we didn't meet my subscriber goal of 300 by the end of 2020, but we'll get there pretty early in 2021. I think I have 281 subscribers, so thanks for joining me. If you want to see more videos like this where I try stuff out, share my experience doing new things, subscribe, hit the bell. I've also got my social media stuff in the description. If you're interested, Instagram, Twitter, it's there. I'll follow you back. And that's it. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.